Andy, that was high-octane stuff all the way through, wasn't it?
Yeah, like it's one of them that's probably enjoyable for the neutral. I'm sure the fans in here loved it by the time we got ahead. The first half an hour, I thought we blew them away. I thought we were excellent, and then we got a little bit sloppy, started to stop doing the stuff that we're doing really well and let them back into the game. And you walk in at half time 2-1 down thinking, how's this happened? But it was important we forgot about the last 10-15 minutes of the first half and tried to come out and do what we done for the first half hour, and I think we done that. Managed to get an early goal, which was so important, and then what a strike by Hendo to finish it off, and then it was just a bit seen out the game. Don't think they really had any chances after that, which is pleasing from our point of view, but we know how tough the Champions League is, and it's so important to start with 3 points, and luckily we've done that.
So what did you solve at half time then?
Look, there wasn't much to solve. It was more, the last 10 minutes, I think the gap between the defence and the midfield was getting too big. They started finding spaces in between us, which is always dangerous, especially when the wingers start going inside. So we had to close the gaps. As soon as we closed the gaps, there was no room to play, and we just stopped doing that, ever so slightly. You can never put your finger on why it happens, but it sometimes does, and it was important to fix that at half time, and I thought we were a lot more compact second half.
And you just, at this level, you just give them a glimpse and they're going to come back into the game, as you saw.
Yeah, look, when you play in this, this tournament, you play against really good teams, and when they smell blood, they usually take it, and unfortunately they done that, got back on level terms, and we need to be smarter than that. Just see it out to half time and get to one each, but 2 minutes later you're 2-1 down again. So look, really tough, but we managed to forget about it. Second half we came out, enjoyed it again, played our football, and got a deserved win, I think.
Well done, Andy. Thank you.
Thanks, Des. Top man. Thank you.
Absolutely a deserved win, but a great game of football as well. I think we should start by looking at the winner, shouldn't we? A big Champions League night, a Liverpool captain, smashing one in from the edge of the box. It reminds me of someone.
No, it definitely does.
Who is that?
It definitely does. How many times have we seen it before for certain Steven Gerrard? But this was it's just so much like it, wasn't it, on a big European night? How he's controlled the ball and stayed over the top of it and got the power into the corner. It was fantastic technique.
Explain to us how hard it is to do that then.
I mean, on the half volley like that, to keep that down with the laces, it's a difficult skill.
Yeah, that's really difficult to keep it like that. To hit it so clean and to keep it low, it's a real difficult skill. Quality from the skipper.
He does it time and time again. He's proved his worth, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's somebody who leads by example. He's not renowned for scoring goals, but he's someone who drives that team. When there's moments when they need guidance, when they need that little bit of calmness at times, he's the person they look to. And today, he came up with a fabulous goal.
OK, well, let's hear from him. He's with Des.
Well, that was a roller coaster ride. What a fantastic game.
Yeah, it was a good game. I'm sure it was good for the neutral to watch, definitely. It's been a while, Champions League with the fans back, so that was really nice. I thought the atmosphere was brilliant. I think we expected that. Started the game really well, on the front foot as we normally do. Scored, get the penalty. And then last 10-15 minutes of the first half, we had a spell where we were finding it difficult. They scored 2 goals, went in at half-time. A little bit disappointed that we're trailing, but I thought the lads reacted really well. Come out second half, started the game again really well. Got the rewards, got back in the game and found the winner. So overall, delighted. And we've got to learn from that 10-15 minute spell as well.
And you got the winner. Do you know when your last Champions League goal was?
It's been a
Rough
while.
guess.
Wasn't Ludogorets, was it?
It was.
Was it?
2014. 2,485 days ago. There you go. And you stroked it in as if you did it every day.
Yeah, it was nice to get back on the score sheet. I haven't got many goals, but obviously something I work on, especially when I'm playing a little bit further forward in the 8. We've got to get arriving in the box and trying to get some goals. So it was nice to get in the score sheet. Yeah.
Very good. It was worth the wait, that goal, though, wasn't it, hey?
Certainly was. It was a fantastic goal.
Well, I'll tell you what, from a man who's waited a while for a goal to a man who scores an awful lot of them, as you can see, Michael Owen and Rio Ferdinand are over by the touchscreen. So I think we should... Should we start with Salah? Should we have a look at that?
Let's start with Salah, Jake, yeah. It's a fabulous goal. Let's have a look at it here. I mean, it starts off with Matip, who we looked at before the game, actually, Rio, with his passes and his running through the middle. It's a good touch, but I just want to pause it. We just forward it on to around this area now. And I spoke before the game about this is an area that Liverpool really do try to exploit. Lots of players fill this area. And a lot of players as well run off the ball, which is very good for them, of course. You've got Trent Alexander, an attacking full-back. Jota, he's making a run as well. You've got Divock Origi, who plays the ball eventually into this area. I just wonder, Rio, before I actually show the Origi pass, anything defensively you think they do wrong here?
Yeah, you've got two defenders here. You've got Tomori, who's looking at the ball, looking at Salah, who's his danger man, and you've got the fullback, Hernandez, as well, who's actually behind, who's marking Salah. Once he plays that ball square, as a defender, all you do is follow your man. Forget the ball. Do not look at where the ball's gone. Do not follow. The moment you follow the ball, you leave and you lose concentration of the player, the danger man. They both follow the ball, and the man in the red shirt goes through.
Really interesting point here. If I actually show you where the goal is scored from, where Mo Salah's touch is, it ends up around this space here. Now, you just wouldn't believe it, would you? The goalkeeper's about a yard from where the ball lands, and he doesn't pick it up, Jake. It's quite unbelievable.
How far is that then? Let's have a look. If it goes from there, sorry, all the way to there, 17 yards, it travels.
Without anything. And it's a great finish by Mo Salah. I mean, in particular, it's a brilliant ball from Divock Origi.
Wow.
The finish in itself, it looks easy. The goalkeeper makes it easy, but I just do want to just have a look at what Mo's thinking about. We see quite clearly the ball there, but if we just pause it at this point. Now, as a centre-forward there, you're thinking someone's going to come and get me from behind. You're wanting the ball to drop. And, of course, you want to take it at its earliest point. If you take it too high, you're only going to hit it. So, actually, Mo Salah, you see there, his feet are just coming off the ground here. And if I forward it a little bit, he jumps even higher. So he takes it at his highest point where he can actually hit it down onto the goal. The finish is not a hard one for Mo Salah, but of course he's trying to take it at the highest point, to take it as early as possible so he doesn't get tackled. It's a fabulous goal. You can quite clearly see as well, he's not sure whether he was onside, offside. He was just on in the end, Jake, but it was a brilliant ball from Origi and a great finish from that man.
And whether it's Champions League goals or European Cup goals, he's right there now. We can see it here. Look at that, Mo Salah, 14, level with Steven Gerrard, who might have had a mention on the show a couple of minutes ago. We might talk about this later, Rio, you know, on our Champions League Tonight show. This is a contract situation that needs sorting out, you know. A couple of years left for Mo Salah at that football club. They need to sort something, don't they? Yeah,
definitely. He's the talisman. He's the guy they go to if they want to get big moments in games and score goals. Consistently, he's that guy.
The four of us are sitting here trying to work out exactly what happened in that first half. Like, if we go back to the opening goal from Liverpool, I mean, it was an absolute blitz from them, the way they came out the first 5 or 6 minutes, wasn't it?
They came out all guns blazing, you know, the crowd behind them. It was every player was on the front foot. Yeah, at this point, it was just a case of how many you thought. It was a great run by Trent. Leo leaves him, you know, should go with him and totally switches off. But Trent's been magnificent down his right-hand side, and it was all Liverpool. You can see him switching off there, gets into the box, driving into the box, and he's trying to cross it there slightly fortunate, but Liverpool was. We were saying here, you know, how many is it going to be before half time, and then you know, came the goals.
And then they get a penalty, and a man steps up who always scores his penalties, and he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. I mean, at this point, as you say, it's about how many Liverpool are going to score. I bet you the AC Milan players at the time were thinking, wow, what has hit us here? They've never seen anything like it. I didn't think this was a penalty, if I'm honest. I didn't think his arm was too far out his line. Mo Salah, you mentioned he doesn't miss. Well, he scored the last 17 on the trot. He missed his first one for Liverpool, and then he scored 17 on the trot afterwards. And, I mean, you'd have to say if he knocked that one in 2-0, you would have thought it would be game, set and match, but it's given them a little bit of a lifeline, and AC Milan have taken it.
It just took us back to what Anfield has been like for the last few years in Europe, especially under the lights. In the way that these fans get behind the team and just suck the ball into the back of the net. I mean, the first goal went in, but the contrast from the beginning of that half to the way it ended, you couldn't have had two different stories.
How do we explain away, then, those two goals in such quick succession? I mean, you particularly, what did you make of the Liverpool defending?
You could pick holes out of it, but at the same time, the way it opens up here is difficult. The ball comes in. It's great play from AC Milan, first and foremost. But sometimes it's about communication and talking at times. And maybe that's the only way that I'd probably be picking the holes in this one. I mean, Gomez follows his run, and rightly so. But then it's about talking to your partner, Matip, to get back in alongside you maybe and don't follow the ball. That's the only place I'd probably be picking the bones out of that.
So I mean, there's two options, Rio, isn't there? You either follow him or you stay and scream at your partner. I mean,
I would have probably done what Gomez done, but shouted my partner to get back in and get alongside me, maybe drop a little bit, sacrifice a bit of space.
You know, that first goal was their first shot on target.
Yeah, you knew it. I mean, you could smell it. You know, it just didn't feel that they were ever going to get an opportunity. It was just, we have to say that when it did come, they took it magnificently well. It was quick, incisive passing. You know, getting men forward. Considering they had barely any attacks, they were clinical in taking them.
Crouchy said it off air. In Europe, it doesn't matter how well you're playing in the game. You can't take your foot off the pedal. Your concentration's got to be sky high, and a game can turn on its head at any instance, and this is one of them games.
Do you remember that graphic that came up after 15 minutes? Liverpool had 13 shots at that point. They then had one more shot in the following 30 minutes. That's how much that game turned around. And as you've seen, Liverpool are losing.